without further ado, time for the Detroit Lions segment of today's show. One of many.
One of many.
I'm going to let you introduce this one, Spinny.
Yeah, so a lot was said about the Lions draft class, about reaches, about different things like that, and how they shouldn't have drafted people here. They would have been available there. But one thing is made certain is that the Lions got the guys they wanted. The Lions got guys they believe in and the players that they targeted, because we've all seen the videos of Brad Holmes pounding the table, getting hype, hugging people, even after the picks this year. You know, the infamous one was with Penny Sewell, but we saw him do the same thing in the war room for a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs and a guy like Jack Campbell. And Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated expound on this. He said, well, we've got another piece of context for you. As an addendum to our lead on the Detroit Lions having the NFL opener, it turns out Detroit had only 14 players with first-round grades in the entire draft class. Gibbs, Campbell, and Laporta were three of them. A fourth was Alabama defensive back Brian Branch, and the Lions used a fifth-round pick to move up to from 48 to 45 to get him. So out of 14 first-round grades that the Detroit Lions had in their books, they got four of them, being Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, and Brian Branch. So if you're looking at it from that aspect, if you're looking at it from the Detroit Lions draft board, this is one of the best drafts of all time. It's you got 4 out of 14 guys you think deserve to go in the first round. And I don't know about you guys, but I have faith in the player and talent evaluation of Brad Holmes. And he knows a lot more about football than I do. He knows a lot more about football than any of you do. And if he says that there were 14 guys in this draft that he would have taken in the first round, and he got 4 of them, I'd say that's a win.
That's nasty. That is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what? I'm very, there's no way that it's... No way it's across the board that like those 4 guys are like first round grades, because obviously 2 of them wouldn't have been there. But what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, that's nasty.
It is
bro.
nasty.
I mean, listen, I've been pretty vocal about it. I don't want to put too many expectations on Sam Laporta's rookie year, but that don't mean he's not going to be something special. That don't mean he's going to contribute to big time wins or big time situations. You saw Brock Wright make a damn play for this team. I'm damn sure Sam Laporta can.
Yes.
And that's a straight up X and O situation, like you said.
Scheme.
Been cooking with a little bit better ingredients.
Yeah. You don't got to scheme Sam Laporta open.
Yeah.
Or you don't have to scheme a big play into Sam Laporta. That's what he's going to do. He's going to make people miss, because we've seen him do that. We've seen him have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Not go down after the first hit. Go out there, and that is in a god-awful offense at Iowa. So when a fantastic offensive coordinator like Ben Johnson gets his hand on a talent like that, it's just going to make it better. And
say what you want about the Brian Branch, the knocks on him, the athletic traits.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I totally understand it, because I've gone through, I did a little bit of homework to try and see like who relates to those numbers. And there's no one. Not to my knowledge. Not that I found yet.
Yeah.
But he's still on tape. Damn good. And you got the fact that, again, Nick Saban's been notorious for his defense. And also just fucking having like all around 5-star recruits.
An ungodly amount of NFL draft picks.
But for him to have start, being one of the only freshmen to start on a Nick Saban defense and be like the leader and captain of that whole situation. Granted, probably one of the weaker versions of Nick Saban's defense that we've seen in recent years. So maybe that's part to do with that. But still executed and performed in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
shined it. Did more than perform.
And then you got the situation too where like you got Brad Holmes with the multiple picks he has made. I'm talking about Lee McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, now Jack Campbell. You have the signing of Cam Sutton. You have the signing of Emmanuel Mosley that may become a long-term situation. If not, Jerry Jacobs has been fucking fueling up all offseason. Mm-hmm. All these graphics from our department to PFS department to last night, I believe it's the 33rd team, or somebody posted another one of like the Detroit Lions starting defense based off college.
Jerry Jacobs not on there.
Not on there.
Yeah.
And he was just felt disrespected. But you got those pieces surrounded by a smart playmaker like Brian Branch, who kind of is in that role like a CJ DJ, where he's kind of free to roam.
Yeah.
Fucking go out there and play make. And maybe you don't need him to be extremely athletic to go out there and play make when you have other pieces solidified everywhere else. Like that's fucking nasty. And we made this point too, I think in a tweet even. Arguably, I don't know, based on the Detroit Lions board, obviously we know Jahmyr Gibbs was a first round pick, clearly taking a number 12.
Yeah.
Possibly above Bijan. And if that's the case, I'm sure the Detroit Lions weren't the only one to come up with that. So you arguably...
They said they would have been comfortable taking him at 6.
Yeah. So you arguably got your number 1 running back,
mm-hmm.
the number 1 running back in your perspective in the draft class. Obviously, you got the number 1 linebacker, the number one linebacker in the draft class, point blank period. Arguably the number one safety in the draft class.
Yep. Definitely the number one safety in the draft class.
And maybe this one a little less up for debate, but I'll say it's still up for debate. The number one tight end.
Possibly. I mean, they took him over the guy who was suggested to be the number one
Right.
tight end in Michael Mayer. Dalton Kincaid went before him. But
So yeah, I mean, there was
Splitting
only
hairs.
one guy
Yeah.
ahead of him.
Mhm.
So, bam, make the argument there. Like, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you got your fucking possible quarterback of the future in Hendon Hooker
Yeah.
in a redshirt season while you're still competing for a championship.
Who was the Heisman
this year.
favorite until he got injured.
Yeah. This can end up being one of the best. It's crazy to be saying this.
Every year.
Yeah.
You say it every year after
Right?
Brad Holmes.
He just keeps on doing it. I mean, we got to see this one play out, obviously.
For sure.
But the way it's looking right now,
On
based
paper.
off that report, god damn, Smitty.
Yeah. It's just like, you guys like what fucking Brad Holmes is cooking? You like? Yeah, it
You
tastes,
like that?
It tastes pretty good. You like that? You like what he's built this team to be so far. You like how much he has identified talent, identified players, brought them in here, and they've had success. Well, then you should love this fucking draft class. And I'll be the first one to admit I wasn't happy with a couple of these picks. I don't think a lot of people were. Obviously, I was a Jalen Carter guy. I wanted Jalen Carter, but I believe in Brad Holmes more than I believe in myself when it comes to evaluating talent and evaluating prospects. So for him to come forward and put this out there, or for this to be put out there that there were 14 dudes in this draft that he would have felt comfortable taking in the first round, and they got 4 of them, that should bring you nothing but pure joy. Because that means on top of this fantastic team, I wouldn't say fantastic, off of this very good team that he's already built, he got 4 of the best guys in this draft in his own mind.
I'm a savage. Whatever I want, I'm going to
Whatever
get.
he wants, he's going to get. Shout out Diddy. Like, it's meant, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy, and you could tell, like, you look at what they're building, even offensively, just like how much it resembles the San Francisco game plan or the San Francisco style offense with guys that will catch the ball and get yards after the catch. A Swiss Army knife, a Deebo Samuel / Jahmyr Gibbs, a guy that can do a lot of different things running, catching the ball. A tight end who is amazing after the catch and makes people miss. A George Kittle, that's what you expect Sam Laporta to be. Maybe not, you don't expect him to be George Kittle, but you expect him to be a guy that makes people miss and is great run after the catch. A great possession receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. A fantastic offensive line. And just spread the ball out, and then people can't hone in on one person because you have so many different weapons on this field to go to. So I'm excited for it, man. It grows on you. It's like Ryan Ermanni said it. Like the second or the first week after, it's like a fine wine. Like the more you let this draft class age, the more you start to like it, the more you start to buy in, and
This shit
it's
just
true
keep getting better.
for real.
And the fucking ultimate test when they finally hit the field too.
Yeah,
Maybe Tom Gore's is waiting to run by those candidates by Brad Holmes.
yeah. And
See what Brad Holmes
say,
thinks.
hey
of the
Brad,
fellas.
how you feeling about these candidates?
Yeah.
Brady has Brad and Stevie walk in the room. Troy's like, man, what the fuck? No, but you like what you're seeing. You like what you're seeing, and I liked the fact what Broder said about the new defensive line coach,
John something.
John Scott Smith, I believe, from John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith,
Yeah.
from Penn State.
Yeah.
Is he's expected to come in here and help these defensive linemen get better, help these interior, especially the interior guys.
Yeah.
So that's why they might not have invested as much into the interior defensive line, but they got guys they liked. They brought back guys they liked, and they had good UDFAs, is because he expects the new defensive line coach to mold them into great players.
Well, that and the offseason isn't over. You know, I don't know how much I expect for him to be ahead of a guy that's been in the league for a long time, and I can't think of his name, but our former defensive line coach.
Todd Walsh.
Yeah, he's been a phenomenal coach in the NFL. His resume is fucking beautiful. He's part of the fucking Saxonville defense too.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to discredit him. But maybe John is that. But also, offseason ain't over. My guy Dominic Seuss out there floating around. I'm just saying.
Dominic Seuss said himself, he's like, I'm in no hurry to sign. I don't
He
want to
did.
participate in camp.
He said I'll be ready week 1. That's what he said. But that's how he's always been.
Yeah.
Remember when he was here? He
Yeah.
always missed the fucking mini camps. People were like, oh, he missed the mini camps.
And he's earned that. He's a gun for hire right now.
Yeah, like, I'm so straight with that. And then I believe it was an NFL Network or NBC Sports, but he was on there as like a guest host, and they're talking about the opening game of the season against Kansas City Chiefs. And they asked Ndamukong Suh, like, what do you think they need to do to beat this Kansas City team? He's like, they need to start defensive line. And I was like, maybe just put a flyer out there.
Put a flyer out there. See what you're doing.
I can help you with that defensive line. Yeah. You still up? You wake? There was a comment in the Woodward Sports chat, and it kind of goes back to a little bit what I was saying yesterday. I'm a little bit of concern about the Detroit Lions offense, but to all the four pieces we're talking about, and Sam Laporta and Gibbs being the offensive pieces of it. Depending on where you look at Swift as, obviously Gibbs probably seen more as a little bit more of a receiver too.
Yeah.
There's more layers to the offense that was already ranked like top 4. So say they are able to replace that charcoal, that you still have that offensive system intact, and you're just adding layers of Gibbs.
You still have the most
another layer of Laporta.
You still have the most important parts of that offense.
Yeah.
The offensive line, Jared Goff, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those are the 3 most important factors of the offense last year.
Yeah.
You could say Jamal Williams, but it was the offensive line. It was not Jamal Williams.